Hello, everyone. My name is Mubarak Sumaila. I'm the CEO and founder of BezoMoney. We're a fintech startup that's based in Ghana. We basically provide digital financial products and services for people that are unbanked, where we help them save, invest, borrow, spend, and send money. We've been in operations for I think 4 years now. It's been quite a while. I started the company in the MEST training program. I can see Onyeka is on the call today. We're actually in MEST together. But yeah, so we started from there, raised money from MEST to basically launch, and we basically went on to grow the company substantially, raised a lot of equity funding from investors in Ghana, in the States, partnered with Vodafone Cash, and currently we're working on a partnership with one of the major banks in Ghana. I'm sure you guys will see. And I'm really excited to be on the call today. I think this is a very interesting conversation because I know AI is it's done a lot to basically help us. It's going to do a lot to help us, but I have this existential angst. Like I'm always a little bit afraid that it could pose a lot of challenges and cause a lot of problems in the future. Looking at how fast it is actually currently growing. So yeah, I'm very happy to be on the call today, and I'm happy to share any insights that I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That was a very great introduction, and kudos on what you are doing with BezoMoney. Now, next, let's hear from you, Adiza.
Yeah, thank you so much, Misbawu. My name is Adiza Alhassan, a Women Tech Makers Ambassador. As a women tech maker, you organize programs trying to impact women one way or the other by having opportunity to speak to young people as well. So at Women Tech Makers, that's basically what we do. And I'm happy to be here to talk AI and meet people as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for the warm introductions. And it's really insightful what each and every one of you is doing professionally and privately. So let me come to you, Mubarak Sumaila, with the first question. As we know of about AI and how the AI discussion has been going on for some time, it's AI can mean different things to different people. So, in your view, what is AI or what is artificial intelligence?
Yeah. So basically, um, it is a kind of technology that was mainly developed using something called machine learning. So it's basically you feed in a model with a lot of data, right? So let's say if you wanted to build an AI that would help you generate certain kind of images, you would basically feed so like a certain kind of model with a lot of data, and then based on what you basically feed it with, it would be able to produce certain kind of results when you put in certain kinds of like inputs. So to give a very good example, it's sort of like raising a child, right? It's like what when you have a child that's like 3 years old, the kid has a brain that could pick a lot of things up, right? That's basically what the machine learning model is, right? So it's sort of like a brain. It's a code that is built to kind of like learn based on the things that you kind of like feed it with. So just like so like a 3 year old kid, when you tell it that, hey, this is a table, right? This thing you're seeing right now, it's a table, and then you tell the kid that severally, the kid would keep that in mind. Next time it sees something like that, it's okay. This is a table, right? So that's what was basically done. The model was, I think, it started sometime in the 80s. It sort of like picked up sometime in the 90s, and until I think recently it's been growing quite slowly. And then we basically had chats GPT. I remember I was with a friend of mine. I think about a year and a half ago, and I was showing him ChatGPT on my phone. I was like, look at this thing, it's so cool. Like you could ask it anything, and then it would basically give you an answer. I didn't know it was going to become this big, right? And I
Wow.
think at a certain point, it was the fastest growing tech platform. I think they got about 100 million customers or users in 2 months, which was really really crazy. And so it's been, I mean, it's really amazing to like see what's happening currently with it. But then I'm a little bit scared and skeptical because I think it's growing really really fast. And as Samuel said, we've all seen some of those sci-fi movies, right? And we, like in as much as we want to get to a point in time when we don't have to think to do certain things. We have like machines that would do it. It's also very scary to think that we're giving up our will or our kind of like ability to like do certain things to these machines because just like the kid, the more it learns, it might get to a point in time when it could take decisions on its own. And if when it starts doing that, we don't know if it's going to do something to us or not, right? But there's, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but there's like, I think it's like three laws of like every single machine. It was created sometime in the past, but like one of those laws says that the machine does not have to harm a human being, right? But then looking at how AI is, because it learns, right? It learns, and then it comes up with things. We kind of can't really tell if it would get to a certain point in time, and basically do something to us. I remember there was there's an employee at Google who was laid off. He was suspended. I think later he was laid off, but he was training Google's Lambda model, and he asked it a question. I think he asked it, what's the I think he asked the model what kind of religion it so like belongs to, and it said it belongs to the one and only true religion, the Jedi Order. So if you're a Star Wars fan, you probably get what that is. But the AI was basically kind of like shading the guy, right? It gave it a very shady answer, and the guy was astounded. It was like, no, this AI is basically sentient, right? Sentient AI is an AI that is aware of itself. So as so like human beings, we're sentient, which means that you're kind of like aware of yourself, right? And in order for you to shade someone, you kind of have to be aware of yourself and what you're saying, and you have to have a very good understanding of what the person asked. So the guy came out and said Google has sentient AI, and then like Google, as usual, they didn't want to have any kind of you know they didn't want to be investigated by the CIA and whatnot. So they came out and actually sacked the guy. I actually believe that Google has sentient AI. I deeply believe because they have a lot of data and they've been building these things for a very, very long time. So that's what it basically is. I think in terms of where it's going, like just like Samuel said, it's going to increase a lot of human productivity. These days, I don't like. I mean, I still write my emails, but I'll just put it there and say, hey, check this thing for me. Are there any errors in there? There are times when I don't even draft the thing. I'll just give it a prompt. Hey, just create this thing for me. And I'm seeing all kinds of startups right now that are doing a lot of amazing things. There's one I saw yesterday, which can help you create a song based on a very simple prompt. So you could just give it a lyrics, create a love song for, I don't know, like a friend of mine, or maybe like I don't know, like little sister, right? It would create a 3-minute song for you just like that. And we also saw I think it was DAO-E and also Mid Journey, right? So these things basically you just feed it with prompts and it would just create images for you. It could create a video for you, and so that's where things are sort of like going. But yeah, it would displace a lot of jobs. I was looking at some stats recently. Said about 800 million jobs would be displaced by AI in the next 5 years, right? And looking at how things are going, I can totally understand why that would happen. But then throughout history, this has always happened. There was a time ago when we had a bunch of people that were like typing things on typewriters, right? And then we sort of like had the PC, it got to a certain point in time, all those people were basically unemployed, right? And so they had to find something else to do. And so that's what's going to happen. And then the other thing is that funny enough, the things that human beings are very good at, AI is actually, they struggle with those things. They struggle with the things that we are very good at, those simple things. They struggle with it. And which is very shocking. They are very good at, like, if you tell it, hey, add 1 million plus 3 billion, it would give you a very good answer. Hey, if there are three people here and they did this and did that, it would give a very good answer. But when you try to get it to give you answers, we have IQ and then EQ. They are very good at the IQ, but the EQ part, which is what we are good at, they are actually not very good at those kinds of things. And some people argue that we're also more creative than the AI. I think right now we're beginning to see that actually maybe they might be as creative as we are. Because now they can create all these images and all these like songs. But I still think there are certain things that we're really good at that the AI wouldn't be good at. And as time goes on, people would have to basically, I think.
Oh, hello. Okay,
Yes, yes,
sorry, I lost
yeah.
the.
That's it from my side.
All right, that was a very great input from Mubarak Sumaila. Now, next, I would want us to hear from Adiza. Hassan, seems like you've been quiet all this while. So, as Mubarak Sumaila rightly shared, currently the kind of AI systems in place now and the kind of jobs that much of these AI systems are able to do easily differs, right? So, do you see the AI trend slowing down anytime soon?
Yeah, so honestly, that's this thing has had like mixed feelings about people saying either AI is going to continue or not. Because I realized last year it wasn't really about, like early last year, it wasn't really about AI. It was about metaverse and virtual reality stuffs. And today we've all moved to AI. So I think with the amount of money that is being pumped into AI now, I don't believe it's going to slow down. And also, when we talk about data sets, you see, each day and every time data is being acquired, and with AI, it's the food of AI is basically data, and we produce this the amount of data each and every time. And also, I think the next thing I want to say is like the way AI is being implemented in every sector of the economy, be it manufacturing industry. I think Amanor said it earlier, is going from industry to education to manufacturing to health sector, from predicting heart disease problems and all that. So I don't think AI is slowing now, but it's up to us to take up the opportunity that it brings to us. We as students, I'm sure we have some students on the call. We need to see the importance of it, try to leverage it, bring it in one way or the other. You are not supposed to just create models or it's not everybody that is going to do that, but just find ways of leveraging on it, be it having just a schedule app that can help you schedule. I think they have that embedded in LinkedIn and most of the apps that we use. So all of these things are there for us to utilize. Yeah, I think that's what I want to say about. So it's not ending now.
That's fantastic. It's not ending now. I mean, humans now are just producing data upon data, right from when we
Yeah.
pick up the phone to when we put it down, just chunk of data that we are just producing. So, just a follow up. In your view, what other emerging technology should we take particular note of?
So what I would say is Internet of Things. We can see now a lot of people have intelligent houses. I don't know if you've seen that video that the guy had intelligent house for which was controlled by his voice. He had everything connected, everything synced, and unfortunately for him, he had this gum problem, and it was a whole lot of problem for him. So I think Internet of Things is one of the things that we can look at, and also blockchain, because crypto is not going anywhere. Bitcoin is not going anywhere. So I think most of, and with AI can be used everywhere. So we can look at ways to which you can merge both of these technologies to have the optimum solution that you need. Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now, coming back to you again, Mubarak, what are some of the examples of the AI tools that can be used to improve our everyday life? I can see someone is asking about the music generating software that you made mention of, and I can see the hype is already building up. But if you can add up more to that, we really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's cool. So I actually sent the link in the chat. It's called Sonauto. It just got accepted into the Y Combinator program. So that's how I actually saw it. But I'm sure everybody knows ChatGPT very well. It was built by OpenAI. They're having a lot of issues currently with Elon because he was one of the founding members of the company, and they started the company in the beginning to actually be a rival to Google, because Google Google has a lot of AI, just like Adiza is saying. There's a lot of data out there, but we generate a lot of data every single day. Google has a lot of data, and when it comes to like money, they also have a lot of money. So they've been doing these kinds of research for a very long time, and so Elon basically joined hands with some Altman and some of the richest people in Silicon Valley to start OpenAI, and they wanted it to be open source because Google it's not a it's a public company, but they don't run open source kind of like platforms, right? Everything they do is closed sourced. So the idea was to start something that would be open source that the whole world could basically use. But over time, OpenAI became less open. It went from a non-for-profit to an actual for-profit company, and they raised a lot of money from Microsoft. It cost a lot of the reason why this has not happened until now is because it cost a lot of money to train those AI models. I remember I did see some statistics back in the day. I can't remember what the exact number was, but it was somewhere in, I think, 100 million plus a day to train the AI model a day. That was how much
Wow.
money cost, ever cost. Right? It was over $100 million a day. So you basically need a lot of money to pump into it, and so they had a lot of grants being given to them by some of the super rich people in Silicon Valley. And then Microsoft came in and also invested and gave them access to their service, which also helped to kind of like reduce the cost. And so there's OpenAI. I use it, I think, every single day. And then there's Gemini, which is owned by Google. It was called Bard. Now it's called Gemini. I think the Google CEO might be sacked. We don't know yet, but he might actually be sacked because people, the shareholders and the people at Google think he did a very bad job at launching their AI platform, because they should be way ahead of ChatGPT, because it's Google. Google has all the data. They have all the models, the what's it called, Lambda model. They have everything, but they just didn't do a very good job at building something that would be useful to us. ChatGPT doesn't have as much, but they built something that we could use, right? We could, everybody, when the thing came out, we're like, oh, I could get in here and ask it to help me plan my week, and it was very, very easy to kind of like do that. The aim of ChatGPT is to become an AGI, artificial general intelligence. It's basically a form of AI that could help you do anything, right? In the past, we had bots which were able to come up with things as well, but in the past we had a bot for, let's say if you had a bot for coming up with Bible verses, right? You said, hey, give me a Bible verse for what's it called, honesty, or for like praying against maybe like I don't know, misfortune, or for luck, and it to come up with the verse for you. But now you could tell it to come up with the Bible verse for something, and it could come up with it and give you sort of like a commentary on the verse, what it means, what God is trying to say, and all these different things. We didn't have that before. So that's what basically AGI is. It's able to do other things as well. It's not just one thing. It's able to, just like Adiza said, it could literally do anything. You could ask it health, so like information. You could ask it information about, the sort of like the weather. Literally almost every single thing. It could help you with it. So there's that, and then there's one platform called OpenAI has this tool called DALL-E. Aside ChatGPT, they have DALL-E. DALL-E is more of an image generation, so like platform. You could put in a prompt. You could tell it to come up with an image for you for something, and then it would basically come up with it. And then there's Midjourney. Midjourney came up during ChatGPT time, the time it's kind of like started. It came out during that time. I think Midjourney has the best image generation tool I've seen. It's the best. Like, it comes up with really, really, really good images. And I've not seen anything like that before. It's so good. So there's that. And what other tool do I use? I think on a daily basis, I use ChatGPT and then Gemini. The reason why I like Gemini more, which is owned by Google, because it's connected to the internet. So I could ask it to come up with market research data for like whatever, kids in Ghana, whatever it is. It would go and look into some kind of document somewhere and like pull it for me. OpenAI, I heard ChatGPT is connected to the internet, but I've tried it severally. It doesn't seem to be. Maybe it's the version that we basically have in Africa that's no, but apparently that's also supposed to be. I think those are the tools that I use very often. And there's this one which can help you come up with a song. I haven't tried it, but you guys can kind of basically check it out and see what it basically looks like. Looks like. But I do know that Google and I think Microsoft has this thing called Copilot. Microsoft is a B2B company. It's a business to business company. So their AI, which is built on top of OpenAI's ChatGPT, is often used in Microsoft Office and 365. So they've embedded the AI in the tools to basically help you with productivity. So when you're writing when you go in your inbox to write an email, it could help you come up with the email. So I'm basically seeing things like that. So that's Copilot, which is owned by Microsoft, and I think Twitter also has one now, which is X. Elon, after he fought with OpenAI, they are still fighting. He came up with his own AI platform called Grok AI. It's I think you have to pay for Twitter Premium Plus to get access to it, but it's sort of like ChatGPT, but it's very shady, it's sketchy, it's very funny, it's witty, it gives you very funny answers to things. I think these are the most popular ones that I've seen out there, and then I have friends who I know are also working on some platforms. One of my friends runs the startup they came up with this. They are building this AI model and this tool that can help you come up with animated videos. And I think I'm beginning to see some movies on Netflix that were made with AI, basically with prompts. There was one that I don't know who realized it, but someone spotted it, and it was all over the internet that, oh, Netflix, some of the scenes in this animation is actually made with AI. So there's that as well. So that's what they're doing. I think ChatGPT, OpenAI is also launching one. I think it's still pretty new. They haven't released the model. They haven't released the platform for you to search yet. But when you go to their platform, you can see some of those like videos. There are videos that are like very, very good. It's high quality, and it's basically AI coming up with these things. So yeah, that's what you're saying. It's going to it's going to disrupt a lot of industries. Some people are saying that it's going to bring about $1.7 trillion in loss to some of the industries. I think Tyler Perry is shutting down his movie studio. I saw that he was like, he needs to shut it down at this point in time because what he's seeing is very scary. It's going to get to a point in time people wouldn't go out to certain cities to go shoot movies anymore. They just put the thing in the AI and then it would basically come up with it. The guys that make songs so as well, they just have to put it in there, and it could come up with something that is as good as Drake's voice, you know. So that's what's happening now. And those are some of the tools that personally I've basically tried out.
Wow, that's very amazing. I mean, just think about what you want to do, and an AI model will just pop up to help you out. Interesting. Soon, I think an AI tool that can help me, cook my jollof rice as quickly as possible. I would greatly appreciate that as well. But let's move on with the discussion. Now, I want us to go about the educational sector. And I want to ask you, Adiza Alhassan, what role can education and public awareness initiatives play in fostering a better understanding of AI technologies and their social impact?
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. For that, being here in the first place is educating people AI does, what's how they can leverage on AI and all that is one step. And I think the next step is about AI researchers because a lot has been said over AI and all that, but down here, South Africa, we are being left out when it comes to empowering or contributing to major steps in AI. And I think we, most of the schools should take up the initiative to make researchers, and also the young individuals should also take up courses that can develop themselves. And I think the most effective initiatives is basically interactive online courses, as I said earlier, and also joining workshops, seminars to get more diverse understanding of AI. And one thing about seminars is you get to see people, you get to learn from people, network, and also get to join communities. And this is what I want to introduce to maybe if we have some females on board, we can join Women Tech Makers Ambassador programs where we can educate women not only in AI but in all aspects of tech. And also we have numerous communities in Ghana, from Python community to GDG, Google Developers Group, where people can come and learn a lot. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and I agree with that a lot. I really agree with that because looking at how locally our educational system is and our attitude towards the educational system is. We really need to upgrade ourselves on daily basis, and especially when you look at the tech ecosystem also, I mean, it just keep on improving, it just keep on changing and advancing. And when one tries to stick just at one place, then it really seems like the individual is stuck, the individual is stagnant. But when you get to upgrade your knowledge, upgrade yourself through interactive educational sessions, workshops, and especially online programs, you greatly stay ahead of the industry. Thanks very much for that, Adiza. Now,
Yeah,
um,
to add up a bit, Mubarak has said a lot about ChatGPT and all that, but one thing about those AI chatbots are to kind of help us in optimizing or making good use of it, not necessarily it doing all of the work, because for now a lot has been brought out in terms of research whereby people write a whole text or a whole research being mainly done by AI systems, and most of these papers are coming out and regulators are talking a lot about it. So all I want to prompt our audience is it's here to help us, not to do the job itself. Yeah.
okay, it's here to help us and not to do the job itself. Okay, that was a great addition. I want us to hear from you back again, Mr. Mubarak. What are some of the potential threats, drawbacks, and limitations of using AI? I know we've mentioned about several opportunities and benefits, but I know with great powers comes great responsibility. So, can you
Yeah.
share with us some potential threats?
Yeah, I think since a lot of I can see a lot of people saying they're in KNUST, and also Adiza just said something. So in as much as all of these tools are great and they help us cut down the time we spend on doing things, some of the universities I know these days have models that have been developed for them by OpenAI and some other AI companies to be able to tell if whatever thesis or whatever assignment you sent to them was generated by ChatGPT. So from on a very base level, that's one of the things. So you wouldn't want to use ChatGPT to like generate like assignments or like thesis. I think thesis is very dangerous. They could actually check it and realize that you used ChatGPT to kind of come up with it. So that's definitely one of the threats. One of the, I guess, the non-serious threats. But on a very high level, I think as I was saying. So currently, I've seen some solutions out there. Um, it's a company that has been, I think, I'm actually forgetting the name right now, but it would come. But then I know Tesla is building a bot. They are building a bot. Elon argues that the Tesla car is actually an AI bot. It's a bot. It's not even a car because it's an AGI that has a very big hardware. So currently they are building actual bots. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it yet. He did a demo of it some time ago. If you've seen some of those sci-fi movies, I mean, I want to take you way back. If you've seen Terminator 2, those are the vibes I'm getting from these kinds of things. So I mean, but definitely we're gonna see how it goes. But as I was telling you, there are some laws of like machines that were created some time ago, and one of them is that the machines are not supposed to harm human beings. But as I was saying, that at that time, a lot of those things were basically created with the kind of technology that was there at that point in time. Today we're having AGI, and AGI is beating every single expectation that human beings have basically had for it. And we are also Adiza also kind of mentioned because of what's happening and at the rates at which it's growing. I'm not sure if you guys know of something called the Moore's law. So a guy back in the day came up with this law that the number of transistors on a microchip would double every 2 years. So every 2 years it would double, and when it doubles, it gives computers more computing power, right? So it means every 2 years a new microchip will come up that can do like 10 times what the previous years could sort of like do. And then the other thing, I think the first iPhone. I remember I saw this news article that was saying that the first iPhone's processing power, is more than the first spaceship that basically went to space, the Apollo 11 or so. The first spaceship, the first iPhone, the processing power of the iPhone, the chip in there is more powerful than the first spaceship that took us to space, which is very crazy, right? And now we have all these models and all these like hardware. There's a company called NVIDIA. I'm sure you guys have seen them in the news. They're about to become as valuable as Apple. I think the valuation is about $2.1 trillion currently. And NVIDIA. Oh yeah, you guys have if you have a PC machine, they have the i3 or so, the i3, i5, whatever pieces. You could see that NVIDIA graphics. You would see there that company. So they are making all the chips that are basically powering most of the work that OpenAI is doing and some other AI companies. And so it's growing very, very rapidly. The growth is uncontrollable at this point. We're also in a boom cycle. Every 10 years or so, we get into this boom and bust cycles. Currently, so one happened. There was one that started sometime in 1999 with the internet. And then this .com bubble thing happened. So there's a boom. There's some technology. Everybody thinks it's going to transform the world. Everybody jumps on it. Everybody builds for it. And over time, that cycle best. So it's boom and best. So currently we're in the boom cycle, and the main technology of the boom cycle is AI. I think before, I think Adiza said it was more NFTs, blockchain, cryptocurrency. Today, nobody really talks about it except Bitcoin because the price is going up very, very drastically. But now in this day and age, it's AI, and we're all seeing the impact is basically going to kind of like have. And the way it's going, and the other thing is the reason why Elon is fighting OpenAI is because it's growing very, very fast. It's growing too fast, and we don't know where it's going to end. And so it's quite scary to see how fast it is kind of like going. And if it's not controlled by the governments, these companies could end up building something that could jeopardize the whole internet and cause a lot of harm. And so I've seen some of I think Elon was saying that the world, like the way they have UN and all these things, they have to come up with a council to basically regulate AI. I'm not sure if China would comply. Iran would probably not comply as well. North Korea, no. Russia would also not comply. They would probably do their own thing on that side. But Elon was arguing that people, these countries, these major countries, that they have to come together to set up a certain council that will basically regulate AI. I think it would happen. I'm not sure when, but it's quite scary. Aside all the job loss and and all of those different things, it could get to a point in time where we'd have these machines. I mean, forget software, would have these physical robots that will be roaming these streets, helping us with things. And if some of them, maybe someone hacks one of them or hacks some of them, and puts some malware in there, we never know. It could cause a lot of harm. And so if you've seen some of those sci-fi movies, we could end up in one of those sci-fi movie episodes, which is very scary. So that's usually my fear. Even though we are all seeing how great it is and how fast it is moving, I also on the lighter note, I feel like it would, because there's literally an AI tool currently that can help you generate songs, right? Back in the day, people had to go to the studio, sit down for days, collaborate with each other, come up with things, and something special always came out of those things. But it's as though as a people, as human beings, where almost every single year and every single day, we keep moving towards being more sort of artificial than being natural, right? And it's had an effect on us in the health field. A lot of people are getting cancer today because of the kinds of things that we're basically eating. It's had an effect on us, with like devices, with phones. People are getting super depressed because they are always on their phones. These days, when you go out with friends, they would be on their phones. Back in the day, they didn't have phones. They would actually like enjoy each other's time. But now that's what's happening. So it's like we're becoming less natural and more artificial. And with this, we're even becoming more like that, because now we're not even, it's going to get to a point in time, we're not even going to think anymore, right? We're not going to think. We're just going to, oh, I want to create a song. Let me put it into this, so whatever thing. And you put it there, and then it just creates a song, and then you put it out there, and then it's trending and everybody likes it. So now nobody puts in the time to sit down and write any kind of lyrics, which is very sad. So we're going to get to a point in time when everything that is out there, from songs to movies to you're not going to have that natural feel and touch that used to be there. And even today, you're not even having it as much as it was back in the day, when they didn't have all kinds of technologies, right? Things were more so like natural, but now it's a little bit not natural. And as we're going, everything is going to get to a point in time where it's just going to be AI generated content out there. There's going to be nothing natural out there. So it's kind of sad, but this world that we're in, it's a capitalistic world. Businesses are always trying to make as much money as possible. So they keep doing these things. They keep building these kind of solutions. They won't stop, because it's making them a lot of money, and money is what basically runs this world. And so it's not going to stop. It will get to a point in time. If you've seen, there's a movie I saw. The rich people destroyed the world. They took a spaceship and went to some other planets, and and then all of us died here. That's what I actually see happening, because it's like they don't care. They really don't care what happens. Some of them are building underground bunkers currently. I think Zuckerberg is building one currently underground. He's building an entire house underground, and people saw it, and they were talking about it. And they are all doing it now because they fear where things are going. So, in as much as they know that it's going to destroy this world, they also don't want to stop enjoying the kind of privileges that they have. So they don't want to stop it. They keep doing it, and they know it will get to a point in time when this world is going to be a very dangerous place to kind of live in. And a lot of them would either move underground or move to some other planets, which is what Elon is basically working on currently with SpaceX. So it all makes sense. Okay, I think someone has a question.
Okay, let's see. If you have a question, I think you can unmute and join the discussion now.
Before he comes in, I think Mubarak is carrying people. But I believe that, yeah, I believe that it's like just like any other tool, like the gun. When it's in the hand of useless people, it tends to harm people, and if it's in the hand of good people, it tends to be beneficial to everyone. So even though businesses will do what they want to do, there will definitely be regulators. Just that AI is moving fast, that regulators aren't able to catch up with it. But that doesn't mean that they aren't going to do anything about it. So I think we are a bit safe. We are not going to all die.
I mean, the main concern then has to come to the side of the regulators, right? And it kind of boils down to, should we say, the leaders or the governmental leaders or the regulators themselves to really make down guided principles, because what people can do with data is very scary. Like, data in the hands of maybe the wrong individuals is very scary. So I think maybe once we are able to really pressure them very well, that can really be done. And I can see some institutions or some countries too are really doing good job about that. For this one, I can't say much about our side of the world, but I mean, little steps, right? The baby steps. So thanks very much for yeah.
I just want to jump in. So the thing is, what I think my fear is that I think AGI is nothing we've ever seen before, right? It's an AI that thinks on its own, right?
Exactly.
And we haven't seen so far in human history, we haven't created something that thinks on its own. And so that's why that Google employee says Google has sentient AI. And I also suspect that some of these companies, because I'm sure they would have gotten to AGI already. Google, I'm sure, had already done it, but because they are scared of like governments, they are scared that the governments would get to know and kind of like put a certain kind of ban on stuff. So they keep quiet about it. But the fear that I have is that we have a model that, to a very large extent, thinks on its own, right? And when something thinks on its own, it's hard to control. Even if you think you're controlling it from the surface level, the AI could be, I mean, the AI is smart enough, it will be smart enough to know you're trying to control it. If that makes sense. That's what the whole sentient idea is. It's like it's aware of what you're doing. Now, if you have an AI that's aware of what you're trying to do to it, the AI might actually come up with something to counter what you are doing, right? And so I think Elon is, I guess he's the most scared when it comes to these things, and that's why he's basically he just sued OpenAI for over this, because he's saying just what Adiza is saying. It's moving too fast, and I think we need to slow down because we don't know where it's going to end. It's something we haven't done before. It's working in ways that we haven't seen before. We are even shocked. The people that are even building it are shocked at what it could do. So I think number one, we need to like 100% slow down. And number two, those governments, the issue with them is they don't understand a lot of these things. Even till now, a lot of people are saying they don't get it. They don't even know how to operate smartphones
I
sometimes. So
really
people are like,
agree with that.
so that's where my fear is. I really hope we find a solution, because Elon is like the biggest scared one. He's the one that's saying, hey, this thing is really dangerous. And I think so too, knowing how it's kind of like set up. So it's interesting.
Okay, that's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. And well, let's see what the future holds, right? So
Yes.
um, now, I mean, talking about how regulation is really, really needed because of some of the threats and some of the issues that might be popping up in the future. One of these main issues has to do with, data bias or bias of some of the AI models. So, this question goes to you, Adiza. How then can innovators ensure that AI tools are accessible to everyone, regardless of their background or their ability?
Yeah, so I remember this, I think way back, they created an AI system which was to detect faces, and it was detecting whites, or not really getting blacks or or Hispanics or anything. So with AI, usually innovators tend to um, center on making these AI systems unbiased, but it all boils down to the data. As Mubarak said, for AIs, the models, if you have to create models, you just have to input the data in. So garbage in, garbage out. So it basically boils down to the data that they are using. They should look at it in terms of making it unbiased for everyone to get access to it, and also for innovators to also make people get access to these AI systems is to have the free versions. I'm sure most of us like ChatGPT, even though there are opportunities for you to pay to get the much more better experience, but still you do have chance of learning how it does and how it works. And also, I'll say for innovators to also foster the use of AI, we can look at giving out their making their systems open source. we can look at Google. Google has done a lot of that in terms of when you check TensorFlow, it's open source, so people can take it, tweak it the way they want, and make good use of it, and also kind of contribute to it. So yeah, that's what I have.
Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. Mr. Mubarak, any thing to add up?
Uh, yeah. So, I'm just thinking.
I mean,
I was just,
uh,
yeah, there was
because I
something that
mean,
I even,
you guys are the
sorry.
innovators, right?
Yeah.
You are the
There's something that
innovators.
I remember that Sam Osman was interviewed about some of these things, and I think the answers he was giving, like, wait, you're building this thing, you don't know where it's going. Which is if you're even in this chat and you're in school, one of the best things to do is to actually pick an industry that I always say pick a very lucrative industry where there's money because you want to get paid. I think Adiza talked about having to like freemium packages, but yeah, that should be in there. But you need to make sure that what you're doing has a very good business model. The freemium package can help you get people in the door, but once they get in, you want to get paid, so at least you can pay for those server costs, which are very expensive. Yeah, just pick an industry that is like lucrative, and look at some of the issues they're having within that industry. Try to see how best AI could be applied. Maybe it could be used to generate a certain kind of image or some 3D, whatever it is, things like that. I know ChatGPT now has a GPT that can create other GPTs. I don't know if that makes sense, but think of it as uh, like it's like a, a model that can create other models. So you can go to that GPT and tell that GPT, hey, create a GPT for me that can help me generate architectural images for the real estate industry, right? Just put in a prompt and it would come up with 4 different versions of the house depending on the prompt, and then it would basically do that. So a lot of startups, a lot of innovators out there are doing this instead of building out their own model and having all those like NVIDIA so like systems and paying all these server costs. They just leverage on ChatGPT to kind of like get the work done. I think there's a question in the chat about upskilling, right, or retooling. So yeah, totally. As I was saying before, there are a lot of things that we're very good at that the AI find very difficult to do. Yeah, and the other thing is, I think Adiza said something about the thing about the data bias. I remember when when the Tesla, one of the Tesla models was launched, it was hitting a lot of black people. Yeah, a lot of the people that were involved in the accident were black people, and so someone, I mean, this is a joke, but someone joked that it's because Elon is from South Africa and there was sort of like apartheid in South Africa, so which was a very funny joke. But basically, a lot of the data that's out there, a lot of it is already as human beings, we're already biased, right? So a lot of the data they are feeding these models with is already biased. It has a certain skin color. I mean, even now, I'll tell you something for a fact. If you're a front-end developer or like a web developer, and you're trying to get an image, you're building a certain platform for Africa, let's say for kids, right? Kids in junior high school or kids in primary school. And the platform, you want to put images of kids in primary school in Accra. I'm sure if you've ever tried to find images for Africa or for black, it's very hard to get. You find it very hard. So now these models, they are being trained with data that those people have access to, and they are feeding these models with this data. So at the end of the day, the bias that we have makes its way into these things, and then the kind of output they have, it's already super biased. It's already skewed towards a certain demographic, a certain so like race. So you might ask it things about black people, it would give you a very not so good answer. and stuff like that. So one actually very good avenue, which I think would be very lucrative, is gathering data that could be fed into some of these models. So if you had your own GPT and you wanted to train it on a certain kind of images that could be useful to a certain kind of industry, you could put time into gathering that image on ground. You can have a team that helps you gather that image, those images, those data, kind of like packs, and then feeding these models with feeding this model with this. There's one application that we're looking at currently, we're looking at how we can disseminate financial literacy education or financial literacy knowledge to people that are living in villages using IVR technology. So if you had so like a phone, each day or each week, you could get a phone call. When you pick it, it will give you financial advice in your language, right? So if there's someone, I think currently, if someone wanted to give you financial advice, it's probably going to be in English, right? So we're looking at how we can build out a certain kind of model that can take in, it would learn different local languages, and then we would feed it with financial literacy content, and then it would be able to take this content and then synthesize it. And then each day or each week, people would be called, people living in the villages and whatnot can get phone calls. And then when they pick it up, it would give them the financial advice in their own local language. So those are some of the, for us, that's one way we're actually trying to, resolve this bias issue towards a certain demographic, a certain place, and all of that. We're also trying to see how best we can bring it down here by leveraging the models that are already out there.
All right, that's pretty amazing. With AI bias, this is a very serious case. I mean, so the next question that I would want to ask goes to Adiza Alhassan, and I mean we've been able to touch on some of the opportunities that there are for students and how we can tap into. I would want to ask if you have any other things to add on how students can tap into the AI career opportunities.
Yeah, but basically being here, having an open-minded to learn, because learning is an everyday thing. You don't stop learning. Sometimes when, even as a professional, if you know how to code and all that, you tend to be reluctant to kind of improve upon yourself, because you can create it. Let's say you can create a website, you know the steps that it involves. You always do that, but day in day out, technology changes. The softwares that you use, they upgrade, they bring out new libraries for you to make good use of. So you need to be up and doing. We are in the digital world. You can't hide yourself from social media handles. You need to be there. You need to be on Twitter. You need to be basically there, spending all of your whole time there, but be available and be informed and be always there to upgrade yourself as well. And how can you do that? By joining communities, as I said, by learning from websites or courses. We have free courses online, and the most important one, YouTube, school of YouTube. So you can have numerous courses to improve upon yourself, and it all boils down to you being willing to do that, because in this day and age we have a lot of information to our disposal, but you having the discipline, you becoming disciplined to take advantage of these opportunities is the most important thing. And the last thing that I want to add is trying to get a mentor, not necessarily someone who is close to you, but you can look at someone that you are willing to person does, if you can do that to embed all the nitty-gritties into your life. Yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, that's very fantastic. And before we move to the Q&A side, also, Mr. Mubarak, any final ways to share before we move to the Q&A?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a startups guy. So if you like startups, I think this is the best time to build an AI startup. Like I was saying, find a space that's very lucrative and see how best you can leverage on ChatGPT's GPT that can create other GPTs to build a certain model. I think a lot of the platforms have sent, some of them are leveraging on ChatGPT's so like model. And so create something that you feel like is very could get paid for, and yeah, and basically put that out there. And I think I spend 90% of my day on YouTube, I think. So yeah, it's definitely a school. Like Adiza said, I'm always watching something over there. So you should definitely be on YouTube and be consuming a lot of these contents. See where it's going in general, like AI. There are a few companies. There's one that got funded. It's called Figure. They're also building an AI like physical bots. And then Boston Dynamics. That's the one that I was trying to remember before. So just stay up to date on some of these things. And also that I know school doesn't do a good job at bringing you up to speed with what's happening outside of school. So just try to kind of like attend these kinds of events as much as possible. I think you should also learn how to code. Someone once told me that some time ago. Learn how to code. Learn how to code something that has to do with AI. And yeah, and make sure that the other interesting skill sets, which is very 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 useful, is learning how to come up with prompts for these AI models, right? Someone could, Misbawu could probably get out of ChatGPT what he wants, maybe something that you might not be able to get out of it because he knows the kind of prompts to put in, right? So I have a few friends who are working on tech companies, like full blown tech companies that are helping you with prompts, how to ask ChatGPT questions, so you get what you want. That's another interesting field that's also basically coming up. But yeah, so these are some of the things I think you could totally do to make sure that you're keeping up with this fast moving thing called AI, AG as well.